Namami Buddhang Gunasagarantang Santa Sada Hontu Sukhi Avera Kayo Jiguncho Sakalo Dugando Gachanti Sambe Maranang Ahanche. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma, now again we start our Dhamma program, meditation retreat. In the morning session, we practice walking meditation and Buddha Hanusati Bhavana, the contemplation of the Buddha. We again practice Bhavana techniques and also we discuss the main doctrines in Buddhism. As I mentioned earlier, the foundation of meditation is that mindfulness. Mindfulness is the foundation of all the meditation techniques. That is why we practice Satinimitta, focus of mindfulness. Especially Buddha explained the three parts of mindfulness. According to Vibhanga Sutta, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya, Satipatthana Samyutta, Buddha says, Satipatthānaṁ o bhikkhave desissāmi, Satipatthāna bhavanāñca, Satipatthāna bhavanāgāmini patipadanca. I explained mindfulness meditation and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. These three things are explained in this sutta, Vibhanga Sutta. Mindfulness means Kaya Kayanupassī viharati, Vedanasu Vedanupassī viharati, Chitte Chittanupassī viharati, Dhammesu Dhammanupassī viharati. Keeping our attention in the present moment, we are aware of our body, feelings, mind or consciousness and mind objects. That belongs to mindfulness. We can see mindfulness everywhere. A lot of people practice and discuss mindfulness. They always say, keep your mind in the present moment and forget your past and future. That is the main advice that we can hear everywhere. But we should understand, this is not the Buddha's message. The Buddha never said us to forget anything. Forgetting is a very big mistake. Buddha never said us to forget anything. When we practice mindfulness, actually our memory gradually increases. Memory is not the fault. The fault is that ignorance or delusion. When we remember something which happened in the past, mindfulness, that is not a problem. If we remember something which happened in the past without mindfulness, that is the cause of suffering. That is the ignorance. In the very first level of mindfulness, we keep our attention in the present moment and we contemplate on our body, feelings, consciousness or mental objects. That is mindfulness. Mindfulness belongs to the present moment and also it belongs to the conventional truth. When we contemplate on four fundamental elements, Dhatu Manasikara, we think about the four elements. Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. When we think about Patavi, Tejo, Vayo, Apo, it belongs to the conventional truth. And also, when we contemplate on Vedana, Vedana also belongs to the conventional truth, but that Vedana belongs to the first experience of our five aggregates. And also, when we go to the next level, mindfulness meditation, it belongs to the ultimate truth, contemplating on impermanence, arising and ceasing of five aggregates. Samudaya Dhammanupassī viharati, Vaya Dhammanupassī viharati. We contemplate on arising and ceasing of five aggregates. Keeping our attention in the present moment in four areas, Kaya, Vedana, Citta, Dhamma, we reflect on impermanence of five aggregates, which is the result of very first experience. That is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. That is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. Or contemplating on the dukkha satya. That is mindfulness meditation or vipassana bhavana, insight meditation. The third level is that Satipatthana Bhavana Gamini Patipada, the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. What is that? That is the Noble Eightfold Path, which consists of Four Noble Truths, understanding the Four Noble Truths. That belongs to vision. Vision and mission both are very important. Satipatthana and Satipatthana Bhavana belongs to mission. Satipatthana Bhavana Gamini Patipada belongs to vision. Actually, there we can see vision and mission both. Samma Ditti and Samma Sankappa belongs to vision. The other parts belongs to mission. Especially, we should know the Four Noble Truths, the five aggregates, and also the dependent origination. The nature of our life. When we see, when we hear, when we taste, when we smell something, what happens to our life? The very first experience, when we see something, when we hear something, the first experience is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, that is neither wholesome nor unwholesome, that is just a vipaka or result. That is dukkha satya. Dukkha satya is explained in Yamaka Prakarana in Satya Yamaka, Kāyikan dukkhaṃ, Cetasika dukkhaṃ, Tapetva avasesaṃ dukkha satyam. If there are anything besides physical suffering and mental suffering, that is the noble truth of suffering. That is very important. The very first experience is explained in Patisambhida Magga in Charyananata Jnana as Vijnana Charya. Vijnana Charya is explained as Nirraga, Nirdosa, Nimmoha, Nimmana, so on. There we have no craving, no anger, no delusion, no conceit, no any other defilements there. That first experience is neutral, that is pure. After it ceased, if we are ignorant, we take it as mine, as me, as myself, because of our ignorance. Then we create the new world. We are in the samsaric circle. Avidya paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnanam. That is the samudaya satya, the origin of suffering. The noble truth of the origin of suffering. We usually live in this part, in this level. We always look at something and also our mind is fixed in outside world. Even though we are happy, we are laughing, we are in suffering, whether we like or not, whether we believe or not. That is the truth. That's the reality. Whenever our mind depends on outside material world or persons, it means we consist of suffering. And also, whenever we think that when I experience something through my five consciousnesses, when I recognize it, the first experience has already ceased, then we are free from the outside world. We depend on our mind, our understanding, mindfulness and wisdom. If we trust in this reality, we are afraid of getting something outside as permanent. What is the reason? The reason is that if we take anything outside as mine, as me, as myself, we have taken the suffering. We have to suffer when they changes, when they change. This is the place we are trusting what the Buddha taught. If we have this understanding, we give the priority to practice this path, since we don't like to suffer. We keep our spiritual goal in the highest level. We keep practice Dhamma in the highest level in our life. Even though we have a lot of things in our life, we give the priority to practice Dhamma, since we know very well whenever we are away from suffering, we have to be punished by outside, since we are controlled by outside. That is Saddha. If we have Saddha, we have confidence in practicing Dhamma. We have effort, virya. We have sati, mindfulness, and we have samadhi, concentration. When mind gains concentration, we reflect on impermanence, panya. Actually, if you are listening to this message, if you are mindful and wise, your inner courage, inner motivation should increase. And also, even though you don't practice this path, your inner motivation, inner happiness should increase, since you have received the message that you have been finding for a long time. You don't need to go to here and there. You don't need to run here and there finding Dhamma. This is the message that Buddha discovered as the result of his long time discovery, research. You know, we should understand the Four Noble Truths, the five aggregates, and the dependent origination. These three things are interrelated. Then we give the priority to practice this Dhamma. Buddha says, as a wise person, the highest qualities that we can have to learn is that understanding the five aggregates. As a wise person, the most important things we have to overcome avidya, bhava, tanha, ignorance and attachment to the world with his direct knowledge. The highest quality that a person can practice with his direct knowledge is that samatha and vipassana, concentration and wisdom. The highest qualities that we should achieve is that vidya, vimukti, knowledge and liberation. According to Abhijñā Sutta, which comes in Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha says the duty of a wise person who was born in this world as a gifted person. This is the summary of what the Buddha taught. We always think about our final goal. Our final goal is that anupada nirodha, the cessation of not arised. If we want to reach this result, we have to practice sila, samadhi, panya, virtue, concentration, and wisdom. Especially, we practice satinimitta. We make mindfulness as our best friend. If we have our best friend, actually we are not alone. Always we have a refuge, we have a protection, insurance, assurance that nobody can disturb. Mindfulness, the very first step of mindfulness is that sati nimitta, focus of mindfulness. We keep our attention around the nose of our lip, we protect it as a diamond, as a gem, as a jewelry. If you have a diamond in your neck or your ear, you always protect it. Actually, this is the real diamond in our life, mindfulness. When we practice mindful object, sati nimitta, we add the highest knowledge to this sati nimitta. If you are interested in practicing loving kindness meditation, you can add metta thoughts to your mindful object. If you practice Marananusati, if you are interested in practicing Marananusati, Maranasati, the recollection of death, you add that meditation technique to the mindful object. If you are interested in practicing Anicca Sanya, reflecting on impermanence, you use it to this meditation object. Therefore, please try to practice mindful objects, sati nimitta, as much as you can. Then you may think that you understand that I have a protection, I have a friend. I don't need to find any friend from outside. From outside you can learn something, but you yourself should make a friend within you. That is your duty. That is why Buddha says, dwell with yourself as an island. Dwell with Dhamma as an island, as a refuge, with no other refuge. How do we make a refuge within us? Practicing mindfulness is the way how we make a refuge within us. when we are aware of our mind, we always contemplate on that whether I am ignorant or wise. Samohan vachittam samohan chittam pajanati vetamohan vachittam vetamohan chittam pajanati. We recognize that whether I am in ignorance or not. How do we identify that whether I am ignorant or not? Whenever we experience something, if our mind is fixed in the material world, be sure at the moment I am in ignorance. I am in the samsaric circle. As soon as when we experience something through our senses, if we are mindful and wise to see that the material world has ceased, I recognize everything through my mind consciousness, then we are going away from the samsaric circle. Avidyayatve vasasya viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho. As the result of practicing this path, we can see the visible results. What is the visible results? We release from craving and anger. We release from suffering. The more we practice this path, the more we release from suffering. The more we release from suffering, the more we achieve happiness, spiritual happiness. Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, with this understanding, now we are going to practice walking meditation. Always keep your mind in this understanding, whether I am in ignorance or wisdom, whether I am mindful or unmindful. Yes? In the last moment that we die, if we reflect on this reality, our mind is not fixed in outside. At the same time, if we reflect on that, my mind also is impermanent. My mind and mind objects are also impermanent. They arise and cease at the moment. It means our death, our life, and our samsaric journey, these three things will end at the same time. For that, we have to practice continuously. We have to practice this path continuously. At the last moment, we can do it. In the last moment, we can do it if we have practiced it continuously in our life as we breathe in and out. Always we breathe in and out like that. We always should contemplate on this reality. We don't need to consider our last moment. Then always we can think this is our last moment. We free from the samsaric journey, not the end of our life. We can overcome the samsaric circle in this very moment after we end in our samsaric circle, we can live more, doing service to the world. The time that we attain enlightenment, we will end jara, vyadi, marana. Everything we can end. Ajara, amara, ajata. Ajara, amara, nivana. We receive ajara, amara, nivana in this very moment. After that, we can live more years doing activities, service to the world with a kind heart. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma, always maintain this understanding in your mind. Always keep this understanding in your mind. No matter whatever you do, always try to think about this reality and try to maintain mindfulness. Whenever you are mindful with this understanding, it means you are meditating. You are in meditation. You are in the best meditation center at that moment. No matter whether you are on the street or in the office or in a wedding, no matter where you are in meditation. You are on the path of liberation. That is the real safety that we can gain in this immediate life that we received very rarely and fortunately. Okay, dear friends, now we are going to practice walking meditation. As we practiced earlier, you can practice walking meditation. Especially we focus on our mind in the present moment with sati nimitta, and we walk mindfully with the awareness of our body. When we concentrate our mind with our body, we can contemplate on 4 fundamental elements. My body consists of 4 fundamental elements. They are Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. Earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. My body consists of these 4 things, and also my body is the result of food or nutrition that I have taken. Because of food, I have this body. This body consists of 4 fundamental elements. And also we can think the cause and effect, causality. Ahara samudaya, rupa samudaya, ahara nirodha, rupa nirodha. With the arising of food or nutrition, this body arises. With the cessation of food or nutrition, this body ceases. That is insight meditation, vipassana bhavana. First we start our walking meditation with concentration meditation. Then we translate it to insight meditation, reflecting on impermanence, contemplating on arising and ceasing of this physical body. Okay, let's start. Dear friends in the Dhamma, you can be happy since you are receiving the highest benefit from your life and the Buddha Sasana, the dispensation of the Buddha. As a human being who was born in this world, the highest benefits that we can receive throughout our life and the Buddha Sasana is that listening to the Four Noble Truths and practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. These are the things that you are doing here. If a person can understand the Four Noble Truths, the suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the path that leads to getting rid of suffering, actually we are so fortunate. The Supreme Buddha says, I explain only two things to the world, in the past and the present, which they are suffering and the cessation of suffering. With details, Four Noble Truths. Suffering can be divided into two, suffering and the origin of suffering. Cessation also can be divided into two, the cessation and the path that leads to get rid of suffering. In this situation, we can understand our life. Our life is that arising and ceasing of five aggregates. Whenever we contact something, at that moment, five aggregates arise. Rupa, form, Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations or mind objects, and Vijnana, consciousness. These five things arise together as the result of our previous actions. And also, if we are ignorant about this situation, we contact the world with ignorance. Then we take what we experience as mine, as me, as myself. Then we are in the Paටිsamuppada, in the samsaric circle, or the Samudaya Satya, the origin of suffering. Avidya paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnanam, vijnana paccaya nama rupam, so on. Whenever we understand this reality, and if we are mindful and wise at that moment, we don't take anything as mine, as me, as myself. Why we don't take it as mine, as me, as myself? We are confident in what the Buddha taught. We have saddha. Buddha says, if you take something as mine, as me, as myself, you have taken suffering. If you are happy with something, it means you are happy with suffering. You are not away from suffering. If we are wise and mindful at that moment, as soon as we experience something, we immediately recognize that the material world has ceased. I recognize everything through my mind consciousness. Then we look at inside. The ordinary people who doesn't know this reality, they look at outside. But we who know the Buddha's message look at inside as soon as we experience something. It doesn't mean that we should not be sensitive. We should not respond to something. Actually, we can respond. We can be sensitive. But we do everything mindfully and wisely. We do everything making a refuge within us. We do everything protecting our mind. Since we know very well the most important thing that we receive in our life is that our mind. Our mind without mindfulness is an enemy. Our mind with mindfulness is that the best friend. Mind without mindfulness is an enemy. Mind with mindfulness is the best friend. Do you like the best friend or enemy? Nobody likes enemy. Everyone likes the best friend. Hita mituru. We are friendly to our mind. Hita mituru. But we usually take hita mituru from outside. Hita mitura. The friend to the mind. Hita mituru. Buddha explained the way how we make a friend within us with the Dhamma, with mindfulness. For that, the vision is very, very important. Vision means understanding the Four Noble Truths, the dependent origination, and the five aggregates. These three things are together. Four Noble Truths, the dependent origination, and the five aggregates. The very first truth, dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering, arising of five aggregates as the result of our previous karma. That is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. That is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. That is neutral. That is just the result of vipaka. It arises together with the conditions. It ceases immediately when conditions cease. Then the next truth, samudaya satya. The noble truth of the origin of suffering. When we are ignorant, avidya paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnana. With the arising of ignorance, mental formations arise. Sankhara paccaya vijnana. With the arising of mental formations, consciousness arises. Vijnana paccaya nama rupam. Consciousness conditions mentality and corporeality. Nama Rupa Paccaya Salayatana. Mentality and corporeality condition 6 senses. Salayatana Paccaya Passo. 6 senses or spheres condition contact. Then Passa Paccaya Vedana. Contact conditions feeling. Vedana Paccaya Tanha. Feeling conditions craving. Tanha Paccaya Upadana. Craving conditions clinging. Upadana. Upadana Paccaya Bhava. Clinging conditions the process of becoming. Bhava Paccaya Jati. The process of becoming conditions birth. Jati Paccaya Jara Marana. Birth conditions decay, death, sorrow, lamentation, grief, so on. These factors of the Patissamuppada can be divided into 3 lives. Our past life, present life, and the future life too. Avidya Sankhara belongs to previous life. Vijnana Namarupa Salayatana Passa Vedana. That is the very first experience here. If you are ignorant, after Vedana feeling, we have Tanha, Upadana, Bhava. That is new karma, arising of the world, creating the world. New karma which consists of ignorance. As the result of present new karma, we will have the next life, Jati Jara Marana. These factors of the Patissamuppada can be divided into 3 lives, and also these 12 steps, factors can be summarized into one moment. The dependent origination is explained in various ways in Buddhism according to the audience. These all factors of Patissamuppada can be explained in 1 second, one thought. If we contact something, if we are ignorant, we immediately create these all factors in Patissamuppada. We are creating bhava or becoming, the process of becoming every moment. We are ready to go to next birth every moment. Now, when we see the world, we think there is a world around us. There are people, animals, things. We think that before I came here, there was something. After I live here, something remains here. It signs that we are in bhava or the process of becoming. If we think that I create this moment at this present moment according to our present mental condition, we understand that every moment I create the world through my senses. The example is that when we go to the mirror, immediately our reflection appears there. The reflection of the mirror didn't wait until we went there. And also, it doesn't remain when we leave the mirror. We always create the world through our 6 senses. Sometimes you may think that if I don't reflect on something, if I don't think something, there is something. Actually, at that moment we are thinking about that. You may think that my car is in the park. Even though I don't see it, it is there. It is true. Now you are thinking about your car in the park. Without you are thinking, your car is not there. Whenever you think it, it means you go to the mirror. Even though you don't see it, even though you don't hear it, you take it through your mind sphere. That is also one of the sphere senses. Even though you don't think, even though you don't see or hear that, even you think it, it means you are in front of the mirror. We have not only 5 mirrors, we have 6 mirrors. Even mind is a mirror. When you sleep, when we dream, our mirror works there. Even though we don't see something, we don't hear something, when we see a dream, what happens to us? We think it is alive. We can see colors, we can see sounds there. If your late relative comes to meet you when you dream, when you sleep, wearing a colorful cloth, and he or she may say something to you. After you wake up, you remember everything. You may think that my grandma or grandfather, my father came to meet me wearing a very white cloth. She or he said that, please give me some merits, do a dana and transfer merits to me. Did you hear that sound through your ears? No. Did you see that white cloth through your eyes? No. Our mind can do everything that other spheres do. This is the nature of our mind. Like that. At this moment also, we are seeing a dream. What is the difference this moment and that moment? Yes, here we are conscious that we are awakening. There we don't know that we are seeing a dream, but the process is same. What is the same? Here also we recognize something through our mind consciousness when 5 consciousness have ceased. In the dream also the same thing. 5 consciousnesses are dead. We act through our mind consciousness. Here also like that. our five consciousnesses are dead. But again and again it comes to the life. That is the difference. But the same thing, when we recognize something, when we understand something, we understand everything through our mind consciousness. If we have this understanding, we can release from suffering in this immediate moment. But we have to be mindful and wise at the moment. For that, we have trained our mind again and again. The highest meditation technique that we can practice to achieve these results is that breathing meditation. There are 40 meditation techniques explained by the Blessed One. Among them, the breathing meditation is very, very important. We have received a meditation object when we were born in this world. Until we die, we have the meditation object, Bhavana Kamatahan. If we add mindfulness to our breathing, then it is breathing meditation. We are so fortunate. When we were born, we are given a meditation technique by our mom. Practicing breathing meditation is the highest way that we can pay our gratitude to our parents. Let's practice breathing meditation. Please relax your body. Straight your body, please. Be aware of the body posture that you are sitting here. And keep your attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. Sati Nimitta, focus of mindfulness. With the fully awareness of the present moment, I am going to contemplate on breathing in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am breathing in and out. I contemplate on my very natural breathing in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. When I breathe in and out long, I recognize it. When I breathe in and out long and short, I recognize it too. I am breathing in and out, sensitive to the entire breathing body. I am breathing in and out mindfully, keeping my attention around the nose to upper lip in the present moment. When I breathe in and out mindfully, I am aware of my body. Breathing in and out is a result of my physical body. This body is the result of food or nutrition that I have taken. Because of food, this body arises. As a result of the cessation of food, this body also ceases. I say the causality or arising and ceasing of this physical body. I breathe in and out mindfully, my mind gains concentration. When mind gains concentration, I reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of the physical body. This body appears because of nutrition or food that I take. This body is not a particular person. This is the result of food or nutrition that I take. This body is not mine, it is not me, it is not myself. With this understanding, I don't depend on my physical body. Furthermore, I continue breathing meditation, keeping my attention around the nose or upper lip. am breathing in and out mindfully. I am breathing in and out, sensitive to rapture. I feel happy when I breathe in and out mindfully. When I have some physical pains, when I stay in this posture, I can recognize it too. I understand that this feeling arises because of contact. With the cessation of contact, this feeling ceases. This feeling is not mine, not me, not myself. It is just a result of contact. With the cessation of contact, mental and physical feelings cease. am breathing in and out mindfully. When I breathe in and out mindfully, my mind gains concentration. Then I feel happy. That happiness is free from attachment or detachment. This is a spiritual happiness that I feel when my mind gains concentration. I am breathing in and out, sensitive to mental fabrication. I am breathing in and out, sensitive to mental fabrication. I am breathing in and out, releasing mental fabrication. All the feelings and sensations that I receive arises and ceases at the moment. They are impermanent. They are not mine. They are not me. They are not myself. Feeling arises because of contact. With the cessation of contact, feeling also ceases. It is impermanent. It is dissatisfactory. It is selfless. Breathing in, breathing out. My mind is so pure and calm with the awareness of breathing in and out. With the sound of this bell, I open my eyes gently. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends in the Dhamma, we have been listening to Dhamma and practicing meditation since morning. When we live with the Dhamma, we can understand and we can see the results that we receive. Especially we are aware of our mind. Whenever we are aware of our mind, we can understand the thoughts that come to our mind. When we have negative thoughts, we immediately understand the negative thoughts. When we recognize negative thoughts, they go away, they cease. And also gradually positive thoughts develop in our mind. What are the positive thoughts? confidence, saddha, virya, effort or energy, sati, mindfulness, concentration, samadhi, wisdom, panya. These are the positive thoughts that we generate in our mind, especially when we practice mindfulness. With the practicing of mindfulness, we can see Sobhana Chaitasika, according to Abhidhamma, beautiful mental formations gradually increase. Beautiful mind objects, mental formations. Sobhana Chaitasika. Sobhana means very beautiful. When mental formations are beautiful, our mind also beautiful. Then we can see our inner peace, spiritual happiness gradually increase. Little by little, we trained our mind to depend on insight with these positive thoughts. Especially when we practice mindfulness, we can recognize negative thoughts that come to our mind and disturb our peace of mind. We understand the 5 hindrances: sensual pleasure, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, skeptical doubts. These are the main hindrances that disturb our peace of mind. Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, now you can have your drinks here. They will serve you. And please accept it with gratitude. And you can have your drinks with mindfulness. This is the time for mindful drinking. Comfortably, you can have your drink. Silently, mindfully, slowly, with the awareness of your sati nimitta, focus of mindfulness. At the same time, if you are clever, you can practice insight meditation too. When you feel tasty, when you have taste through your drinking, you contact it through your tongue consciousness. But when you recognize it, it goes to your mind consciousness. Please contemplate on that everything you associate with as the material world, when you recognize or understand them, the material world and your physical body has ceased. You can taste anything, but you should understand, when I taste something, I do it with my mind consciousness. Then we have no attachment or detachment to anything or anyone. With this awareness, mindfulness, and reflecting on impermanence, you can feel the beauty of your life. In this Buddha Sasana, the most important thing I have received is that the Dhamma, the Four Noble Truths. In this asana, the highest thing that I can practice is that samatha and vipassana, or concentration and wisdom. Every moment, by practicing mindfulness, I keep my mind in a particular or some object for a long time. Then my mind gains concentration with that positive thought. When my mind gains concentration, I reflect on impermanence. Arising and ceasing of five aggregates, six senses, six external objects, and Nama Rupa, mentality and corporeality. Also, Nama Rupa Vijnana, mentality, corporeality and consciousness. have any question to ask? Okay, we are going to next session. We discussed the main topics in Buddhism: the meditation, the Four Noble Truths, 5 aggregates, 3 disciplines, 3 characteristics. All of them belong to or focus on liberation. In the normal days, we usually discuss some doctrines that belongs to this life or a blissful life. But here we discuss the doctrines that are useful to liberate from suffering. If we want to overcome suffering, we should have clear understanding how suffering arises and also how suffering ceases. As we mentioned earlier, whenever we are ignorant, we are in the samsaric circle. Whenever we are mindful and wise, we are going away from the samsaric circle. With this understanding, we conduct everything focusing on liberation. For that, we should practice the clear path, the direct path, fearless path that the Blessed One explained, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. With the understanding of the Four Noble Truths, Sammaditthi, we come to Samma Sankappa, right intention. What is the right intention? Nekkama Sankappa, Avyapada Sankappa, Avihimsa Sankappa. The intention of renunciation, the intention of free from attachment. Avyapada Sankappa, the intention free from ill will. Avihimsa Sankalpa, the intention free from cruelty. The foundation of Samma Sankappa is that loving kindness, metta bhavana, and generosity. We are generous here. We are kind. And we practice loving kindness meditation. Especially when we practice loving kindness meditation, the highest attitude of practicing loving kindness meditation is that when we see a person, when we hear a person, when we remember a person, we immediately think that that person is like my only son or daughter. If we have this understanding, we have no greed, no jealousy, no conceit, no anger. That is why the Buddha says the highest quality in the mundane level that we can practice to develop our spirituality is that practice in metta bhavana. Among the 40 concentration meditation techniques in the mundane level, the highest benefits that we can receive throughout practicing loving kindness meditation. It is a meditation technique. It helps us to concentrate our mind, and also it helps us to get the benefits in our samsaric journey. And also, when we go to the deliverance path, the Buddha says very clearly, Yantang santang padang avisamecca sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. He who wishes to attain the peace of mind should practice loving kindness meditation, contemplating on thus, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. When we practice loving kindness meditation, we develop another 3 qualities. What they are? They are karuna, mudita, upekha. Karuna, compassion; mudita, sympathetic joy; and upekha, equanimity. These are the 4 Sabrahmi states that Brahmas are dwelling with in the Brahma realm. They always dwell with these 4 Sabrahmi states. If a person is able to practice these 4 things, he can make a Brahma life, Brahma world in this human life. Physically, we are in the human realm, but mentally, our attitude is the Brahma realm. Our mental situation is in the Brahma realm. Physically, we are in the human realm, but mentally, we are in the Brahma realm, Brahma world. This is the benefit of practicing loving kindness meditation, or the 4 Sabrahmi states. On the other side, as I mentioned earlier, the highest quality that we can practice is that mindfulness. Before mindfulness, when we check some discourses about mindfulness which comes in Samyutta Nikaya, in Satipatthana Samyutta, in many discourses the Buddha says, Adhikeneva kusalesu dhammesu parisuddehi. At the very beginning of practicing mindfulness, we should cleanse the wholesomeness. We should cleanse the wholesomeness. Again, Buddha describes it. Selesu suvisuddham dittincha ujukam. We should cleanse the virtue or discipline, and also we should straight vision. Virtue and vision. When Buddha describes the spiritual path, deliverance path, he mostly emphasizes the importance of sila and panya. In the mundane level, with the understanding of the karmic law, we can practice 5 precepts. Abstaining from killing beings, stealing, sexual misconduct, foul speech and intoxicating drinks and drugs. That is enough in the mundane level for a blissful life and for a successful social life. But when we go to the ultimate truth for liberation, our virtue or sila is in the highest level, which consists of vision or panya. It says in Karanimetta Sutta 2, Dittin Chanupagamma Silava Dassanena Sampanno. We should practice virtue or sila, not falling into extremes. Not falling into extremes. Dittin Chanupagamma Silava Dassanena Sampanno. Without falling into extremes, we should spend a spiritual, virtuous life. Their vision is very important. The Buddha says if a person sees the arising of five aggregates, he doesn't go to the extreme of nihilism, annihilism. And also, if a person sees the cessation of five aggregates, he doesn't go to the extreme of eternalism, sassatavada. Uchchedavada and sassatavada, both of wrong views, should be overcome with one vision, which is the paticcasamuppada, or the dependent origination. Iti imasmin satidang hoti, imasa upadayidang upajjati. When this happens, with the arising of this arises. Iti imasmin asatidang hoti. When this is not, this doesn't happen. With the cessation of this ceases. This is the theory of paticcasamuppada. With this understanding, we don't go to the extreme of sassatavada and uchchedavada. We made the correct vision with the understanding of the dependent origination of paticcasamuppada. With this understanding, we have sammaditya and samma sankappa. We were discussing sammaditya and samma sankappa. Then we go to the next level, sila. Samma vacha, samma kammanta, samma ajiva. Right speech, right action, right livelihood. These three things belong to virtue or sila. But here sila is different from the mundane level sila. This sila is rich in the understanding of the paticcasamuppada or the five aggregates. In the mundane level sila, sometimes we think that it disturbs our free life, our freedom. When we practice five precepts, sometimes someone may think that this sila disturbs my freedom. But when we go to the higher level with the understanding of the noble truth, the sila make us easy our life. We are happy to practice sila. Why? Now we have a spiritual goal which helps us to overcome suffering. We know very well, if we are ignorant, we have to suffer with lot of things. With this understanding, we want to overcome suffering. On the path of getting rid of suffering, sila or virtue plays a very big role. Now we are happy to practice virtue or sila. When we practice sila, we have no problems, no regrets, no difficulties in our social life and our spiritual life. Practicing sila makes us easy. It helps us to do our activities very comfortably and easily. We usually say that I protect Dhamma. Mama Dharma ආරක්ෂා කරනවා. Actually, we don't need to protect Dhamma. He who practices Dhamma is protected by the Dhamma. When we practice Dhamma, we are protected by the Dhamma. Especially when you practice 5 precepts, you can see visible results. When you discipline your speech and behavior, you have no problems from outside. Then you feel freedom. You feel happy when you practice this path, since you see the visible results. When we practice 5 precepts, we can go anywhere without fear, without doubts, without regrets. And also this path, sila, virtue, helps us to become concentration. Without sila, it is difficult to practice concentration. But as I mentioned earlier, if a person, there is a gifted person, if he is so wise, he can directly practice vipassana bhavana, reflecting on arising and ceasing of 5 aggregates. But the Buddha usually explains the gradual path, sila samadhi panya, sile patitthaye narosa panyo, chittang panyancha bhavayam. The wise person having a virtuous life practices concentration and wisdom. This is the gradual path. There, sila is very important. We practice right speech, right action, and right livelihood. We protect our speech, our words. When we speak something, we think again and again whether it is correct. We do everything mindfully. When we do something physically, we think again and again whether it is correct. We don't do anything which disturbs our spiritual life. We have given the priority to practice our spiritual path. Our spiritual goal is kept in the highest level in our life. We do everything giving the priority to our spiritual goal. What is our spiritual goal? Our spiritual goal is that not to depend on outside. Our spiritual goal is that making a refuge within us, not depending on outside. We always take care of our mind. We protect our mind. For that, we practice virtue, and also little by little we concentrate our mind using some tranquil meditation techniques. such as Metta Bhavana, breathing meditation, Marananusati, Buddhanusati, Dhatu Manasikara, Dhammanusati, Kasina, Chaganusati, Satara Brahma Viharana, Ahare Patikula Sanya. These are the meditation techniques that helps us to concentrate our mind. The more mind gains concentration, the more we reflect on impermanence. As soon as we see something, we hear something, we see that is like a tree. When you see something, when you smell something, when you hear something, you meet some material world. Then immediately you go to the root. Root is in the past. What is the root? The very primary level, 5 aggregates. We reflect on those 5 aggregates have ceased. We reflect on them as arising and ceasing. As the result of reflecting on this impermanence, the tree that you found falls down. That is Anutpada Nirodha. There you have no attachment, even detachment. You are free from suffering. This is the very important message that the Buddha explained for our spiritual life with great compassion. If we really respect the Buddha, if we want to pay our gratitude to the Buddha and the Sangha, practicing this path is the highest way that we can show our gratitude to the Buddha and Sangha. And also, this is the way how we can make our parents and close relatives happy. When we are happy, releasing negative thoughts from our mind, we are happy. We develop our spiritual happiness. Whenever we are happy, our close relatives and friends are also happy. Whenever we are unhappy, who are happy? Yes, our enemies, they are so happy. Do you like to make your enemy feel happy or unhappy? We always like that our close relatives be happy. We always try to make our close relatives happy. If we want to do it, we should be happy. If we want to become the real happiness, we have to overcome craving and anger. If we want to overcome craving and anger, there are primary techniques that Buddha has explained. But the highest technique is that reducing ignorance or delusion, avidya. The path of reducing ignorance is that practicing mindfulness. That is why Buddha says, Ekayano ayam bhikkhave maggo satthana visuddhiha. This is the only path for the purification of beings. Soka paridhavana samatikkamaya, for the destruction of sorrow and lamentation. Dukkha domanassanam attangamaya, for the overcoming of grief and pain. Jnaya sadhigamaya, for the gain in knowledge and understanding. Nibbana Satchikiriyaya, for the attaining enlightenment, the only path that Buddha has explained, which is mindfulness. There we should practice mindfulness, mindful meditation, and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. The more we practice mindfulness, the more we can see the beauty of our mind. We can see the visible results. Then practicing meditation or mindfulness is not boring. It may be our hobby, our interesting. Practicing meditation should be our hobby or our interesting, our interest. We don't spend money to gain happiness. Without spending anything, we can gain the highest bliss of happiness explained by the Blessed One. By practicing Dhamma, by reducing negative thoughts, purifying our mind, we can gain the spiritual happiness, the supreme happiness. For that, insight meditation is very, very important. Now we are going to practice Vipassana Bhavana or insight meditation. Okay, place your attention with the Sati Nimitta around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. Okay, keeping our attention with the Sati Nimitta. Now I am going to practice breathing meditation in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I completely keep my attention around the nose or upper lip with breathing in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. When my mind gains concentration with breathing in and out, I reflect on impermanence of five aggregates. My entire life is the present thought, the present moment. The foundation of present thought is that five aggregates: Rupa, form; Vedana, feeling; Sanya, perception; Sankhara, mental formations; and Vijnana, consciousness. When I remember something in the present moment, the root of the present moment is that the past experience. The past experience has already ceased. In the result level, 5 aggregates have already ceased. I reflect on that previous 5 aggregates impermanence. They have arisen and ceased already. Arising, ceasing. Every moment I contact the world through my senses. I contact them in the present moment with 5 aggregates, especially with forms. But when I recognize it, form has completely ceased. Arising, ceasing, arising, ceasing. Whenever I experience through my 6 senses, I immediately understand it goes to cease. When I recognize something in the present moment through my mind consciousness, its roots, which happened in the past, has already ceased. I reflect on this impermanence. I contemplate on the impermanence of 5 aggregates which have already ceased in the past. Arising, ceasing, arising, ceasing. When I reflect on impermanence of five aggregates which happened in the past, I release from the outside world in the present moment. I see the world as an empty village. Whatever I see, I hear, I taste, I smell, I touch, when I recognize them, I understand that forms have already ceased. They are impermanent. They are dissatisfactory. They are selfless. They arise and immediately cease. My internal senses are impermanent. They arise at the moment and they immediately cease when conditions cease. External objects are also impermanent. They arise at the moment according to my senses. They also cease when conditions cease. The external objects are impermanent. They are dissatisfactory. They are selfless. And six consciousnesses are also impermanent. They arise at the moment. They immediately cease at the moment. And contacts are also impermanent. They arise at the moment. They immediately cease at the moment. With this understanding, I recognize that in the present moment, 5 aggregates, arise sensation, and I recognize them. The very first experience has already ceased. I recognize something through my 4 aggregates: Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations, and consciousness, Vijnana. Or Chitta Chaittasika. These 4 aggregates are also impermanent. They arise at the moment and they immediately cease at the moment. When I reflect on the impermanence of 5 aggregates which happened in the past, I release from the outside world. I am so happy to reflect on this reality. The reason is that the more I reflect on this reality, the more I release from the world. The more I release from the outside material world, the more I release from suffering. Anityai, Anityai. I always reflect on the 5 aggregates which happened in the past. But I keep my attention in the present moment with my mind. Always keep in my mind in the present moment, present mental object. I reflect on impermanence of 5 aggregates which happened in the past. Furthermore, I keep my attention in the present moment around the nose or upper lip with Sati Nimitta. With this awareness, I reflect on the impermanence of 5 aggregates which happened in the past. Anityai, Anityai, impermanence, arising, ceasing, arising, ceasing. Anityai, Anityai, impermanence, impermanence, arising, ceasing, when I reflect on impermanence of 5 aggregates which happened in the past, I release from the outside in the present moment. I see the all over the world like an empty village. I have nothing to attach or detach. I have nothing to get desire or angry. My mind is free from craving, anger, and illusion. Mind is so pure and calm. That mind also every moment arises and ceases. Everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada paññāya pansati ata nibbindati dukke esa maggo visuddhiyā. All conditioned things are impermanent. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sabbe sankhara dukkhati yada paññāya pansati ata nibbindati dukke esa maggo visuddhiyā. All conditioned things are dissatisfactory or suffering. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sabbe Dhamma anattati yada paññāya pansati ata nibbindati dukke esa maggo visuddhiyā. All phenomena are selfless. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends in the Dhamma, if you have any question, you can ask. In Sinhala also you can ask. පින්නතුනි අප මේ සාකච්ඡා කළේ බුදු දහමේන ඊටාම වැදගත් ඉගැන්වීම් කිහිපයක් සම්බුදු සසුනක් සජීවී කරන්න හේතු වන ප්‍රධානතම කරුණුයි අපි මේ සාකච්ඡා කළේ. ඉතින් මේ පින්නතුන් හුඟක් භාග්‍ය සම්පන්නයි. මේ ශ්‍රී සද්ධර්ම අපේ ජීවිතේට ලැබෙන අවස්ථාව සසර අනාදිමත් කාලයක් කරපු මහත් වූ කුසලයක ඉෂ්ට විපාක ඉහළින්ම භුක්ති විඳින අවස්ථාවක් මේක. මේ ගැන ඔබ නැවත නැවතත් හිතට සතුටු වෙන්න. මේ පින නැත්නම් පිනුතුනේ මෙතෙන්ට එහෙම එන්න බෑ. මේ ආසන හුඟක් තිබ්බට එය ප්‍රීපේඩ් කරපු අය කවුරුවත් නැහැ. ඒකයි හේතුව. ඔබ මේවට කලින් ප්‍රීපේඩ් කරලා තියෙන නිසා මේ වේකන්ට් එක තියමිල එතෙන්ට මේ ආවේ. ඉතින් ඔබ ඒ ගැන හුඟක් සතුටටපත් වන්න. ඔබේ සසරගත පින ඉහළින්ම භුක්ති විඳින අවස්ථාව මේක. කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න පින්නතුනි, ඇත්තටම මේට වඩා සෝයක් ඔබේ ජීවිතේ විඳිනවා නම් විඳින්න කියලා මොකද තියෙන්නේ? මේට වඩා සතුටක් ඔබට විඳින්න තියෙනවා නම් මොකද්ද කියලා කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න. මෙච්චර මේ දහමක් ලැබෙන අවස්ථාව, මේ තරම් පහසුකම් වටා පිටාවක් තියෙන අවස්ථාව, සජීවී බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ බඳු මේ බුද්ධ ප්‍රතිමා වහන්සේ අභියසිඳගෙන මේ තරම් පහසුකම් ටිකක් ලැබෙමින් මේ තරම් ඉහළ රටක ඉඳගෙන ඔබට සද්ධර්මයේ ලැබෙන දේ හැර පින්නතුනි වෙන ජීවිතේ මීට වඩා ලබන දෙයක් නෑ අපට. අපි මේ ඉහළම දේ ලැබෙන අවස්ථාව හැබැයි පින්නතුනි මේ ලබන දේ අකණ්ඩව පවත්වාගෙන ඔබ දක්ෂ වෙන්නට ඕන. මෙතනින් පල්ලෙහාට වැටුනොත් පින්නතුනි ඒක ලොකු අභාග්‍යයක්. රාජ්‍ය බොජුණක් අනුභව කළා හිඟන්නේකෝගේ බත්පතකට වැටෙන එක එච්චර ගැළපෙන දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා ආධ්‍යාත්මික ඉහළම ඵලයේ භුක්ති විඳිනට ඔබ හුරුණා නම් ඒක අඛණ්ඩව කරගෙන යන්න. එකෙන් කියන්නේ අනිත් පින්කම් කරන්න එපා කියලා නෙමෙයි මේ කියන්නේ. ඒවට උදව් කරන්න. ඒ පින්කමල අනිසංසෙන් තමයි ඔබ මෙතෙන්ට ඔසවා තබන්නේ. හැබැයි මේ ලබා ගන්නා වූ අවබෝධය ආධ්‍යාත්මික දියුණුව මෙය දිගින් දිගටම පවත්වා ගන්න විතරක් නෙවෙයි එන්නම මේ සඳහා තමන්ගේ කාලය ශ්‍රමය කැපවීම ටිකෙන් ටික වැඩි කරන්නට ඕන. එහෙම වුණොත් තමයි අපි සැබවින්ම ජීවිතේ ජයග්‍රහණය කරා වෙන්නේ. අනිත් සියලුම දේවල් පින්නතුනේ භෞතික වශයෙන් අපි ගොඩනගා ගන්න සියලුම දේවල් දිනපතාම වෙනස් වීමට, මහලු බවට, දි รา මත් බවට, දිරීමට, රෝගී බවට, මරණයට, විනාශයට පත් වෙමින් තියෙනවා. ඒවා කිසිසේත්ම වළක්වන්න බෑ පින්නතුනි. කොයිතරම් තාක්ෂණය, කොයිතරම් පහසුකම්, කොයිතරම් ගෙදන් කළත් ඒ කිසිදු දෙයක් මේ යන විනාශයෙන් වළක්වන්න බෑ. අපේ මේ ශාරීරික මේ දේහයවත් අපේ භෞතික ශරීරයවත් ඒ විනාශයෙන් වළක්වන්න අපට පුළුවන් කමක් නෑ. ඒ තත්ත්වයට හැමදෙනාම මොහොතක් පාසා මුහුණ දෙමින් ඉන්නේ. අන්න එවැනි ලෝකයකට බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ දේශනා කළේ ජරා මරණ ව්‍යාධි කරා යන මේ ලෝකයේහි ඒ දේවල් සොයාගෙන යන මේ ලෝකයේහි අපි දක්ෂ වෙන්නට ඕන ජරා මරණ වලින් නිදහස් වන දෙයක් වෙත යන්නට. the nature of the world, they always find something which is subject to decay, illness, and death. In this situation, as the Buddha's followers, we should be wise to find something which is not subject to decay, ill, or death, which is the spiritual development. Making a refuge within us, developing our mind, especially practicing mindfulness. We should practice 5 spiritual faculties. When we practice the Noble Eightfold Path, 5 spiritual faculties gradually increase. Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. When those 5 spiritual faculties develop, the 7 enlightenment factors gradually develop. Sati, Dhamma Vijaya, Viriya, Piti, Passaddhi, Samadhi, Upekha. As the result of developing these 7 enlightenment factors, we are able to achieve the knowledge and liberation, Vijja Vimukti. The more we go forward on this path, the more we realize the noble truth. First, we understood it by listening to Dhamma, that is Suttame Jnana, the wisdom of hearing. Then we go to the next level, Chintame Panya, the wisdom of contemplating, and also by Bhavanamaya Panya, the wisdom of meditation. By practicing Samatha and Vipassana, we develop this understanding. As the result of gaining this knowledge and understanding, we become the liberation, emancipation, freedom, enlightenment. What is the freedom? What is the freedom? What is the liberation? Liberation from craving, anger, and delusion. As the result of gaining these results, we become the upekha or equanimity. We make a balanced mind, unshakable mind. That is the highest bliss of our life. Buddha says, Puttassa loka dhammehi chittang yassana kampati asokhang virajang khemam etam mangalamuttamam. Making an unshakable mind among the worldly condition. Labha labha, gain and loss, yasa yasa, fame and blame, prasansa ninda, praise and blame, sapadukam, happiness and misery. Among these 8 worldly conditions, if you are able to make an unshakable mind that no one can disturb, that is the highest bliss of our life that the Mangala Sutta describes. For that, we should have all the qualifications. We have enough merits that we have done in our previous lives. We received everything. By using these facilities day by day, let's try to go forward on this spiritual path. For this, I wish you all the best. By the power of this spirituality, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain the final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. By the power of the spiritual energy, may guardian deities and angels also receive this merit. May they keep the eye on you too. May they protect the Sasana and the world. With that intention, let's say, Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. By this spiritual energy, may our departed relatives also receive this spiritual energy. May they have blissful life. Finally, may they also attain the final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's say, Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. By the power of all these meritorious deeds, may our venerable monks who are the residence monks here, they helped us a lot for success of this event. May this spiritual energy help them to succeed their educational and spiritual life. May they also attain the final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. By the power of all this spiritual energy, may all of us attain the final bliss of liberation, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham panta ca nindukkham, bhayam panta ca nibhayam, sokam panta ca nissokam, hontu sambe pipanino. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.